A specific inspiration was the creation of the NCCR, the National Competence for Research Fund by the Fonds National Suisse, because that was a new funding opportunity over several years with quite a lot of funding. And it was a tough competition, but we made it.
If I have to keep maybe one memory, it is a relatively old memory because it is at the very beginning of the center. So in 2005, when we knew that we had the funding to create the NCCR Affective Sciences, but it was not clear at all where the center could be. And so we spent a lot of time to look for a place. And I still remember when we visited with Klaus the place, the CISA ARF des Battoirs. We decided to visit the Battoirs, and then we just received the confirmation of the financement of the NCCR. And it was like a dream to think that it could be there. And at some point we had a clear response for the rectorate that we could have one space for all members of CISA. But it was really only the NCCR at this place. And then it was very emotionally strong to discover the place where we will build up this Center for Affective Sciences. It was the first interdisciplinary center totally dedicated to affective sciences, and it was very, wow, it's really concrete now.
The uniqueness is the topic, the focus on it, but also the possibility to really actually do the research in an independent fashion. The freedom to do research apart from a faculty or department, which always is very constraining in terms of the rules and various other kinds of institutional restrictions. CISA doesn't have that. CISA is sort of auto-governed, and that makes it possible to be much more creative than in a normal department with teaching requirements and all kinds of other kind of rules. And also it provided an infrastructure that allowed interdisciplinary research. For example, I could have never had direct access to neuroscience approaches that the BBL has provided.
But my favorite emotion is not a positive one, actually. It's anger. Actually, I'm quite fascinated by anger for different reasons. But the first one is one of the big six emotions. It's very basic in some way, but it's also very complex. You have to take into account the context when you have this burst of anger, and then you have to take into account the power that you have in the relationship, how they will react in front of your irritation or anger. Me, my favorite emotion is the emotion of interest. As an epistemic emotion, I think it's a very fascinating one, because in a way, as a researcher, being interested in emotion means that interest is an emotion that allows us to understand all emotions.
Many phenomena really need several disciplines to be attacked in research, and emotion is a particular one because it can't be studied by one science or discipline. Emotion has, in terms of the history of research, very scattered history, because it often was studied in only one discipline. So there were a lot of conflicting points of view about it and how to study it. We have this interdisciplinary institution as a model for how that could work. I think it may have sort of modestly contributed to the fact that now emotion is considered to be an interdisciplinary topic.
I am convinced that we will continue to write the history of affective sciences at CISA in the future at the international level. I really hope we will continue to develop both the conceptual aspects and the methodological aspects, because both of them are equally important for the future of affective sciences.
I think the future of CISA, but we will of course pursue this interaction between different disciplines, and I think we have to strengthen, to reinforce this relationship between the different disciplines. And one of the very big avenue now in science in general is, of course, artificial intelligence. As a new director, I want to build up a task force in order to ask all the PIs to discuss around the possibility to develop artificial intelligence in the context of emotion.
I trust that we will remain and maybe even develop even more the interdisciplinary aspects and all, or at least most of the disciplines that are important for affective sciences to be represented here at CISA.